Hey guys, Lou Wizard here with another Soulforge video on Gems of War. I apologize, this one's a couple days late. I was out of town Monday, so I wasn't able to make that video like I normally do. But it's a little later this week, but we'll go over here the Soulforge and my thoughts on what's in here. Looking at the weapons first of all, as we usually do. I don't recommend this doomed weapon. It's just not really that good in my opinion. And the other ones here are these mana generating weapons for either mech allies, or we have for Adana allies, which that's the kingdom that most of the mech troops are from. And we have the engineer's drill down at the bottom, which might be more worth it than the mecha axe or the drill shooter. The engineer's drill is actually pretty decent. It will explode brown gems, and then it will grant a random positive status effect to all mech allies, and then it will summon a mech troop if there's an available spot for that. So this one here for 300 diamonds, I would say if you really like using mech troops and you have a lot of them upgraded to, legendary or mythic status, then you could probably get this weapon. It's pretty good. And if you don't have troops like Tina 9000, or because that is a mech troop, it's one of the best mythics in the game, in my opinion, at least in the top 10. But this right here will summon any mech troop if you have an open spot available when you cast this weapon. And if you don't have things like Tina 9000, there is a chance that it will summon troops like that. So that's pretty awesome. So that's why I would say Engineer's Drill is worth it, because it will explode brown gems here, which is your mana generation, and then granting a positive status effect to mech allies is great, but then it also has a chance to summon mech troops, and that includes the legendaries and mythic mech troops. And Tina 9000 is one of the best mythics in the game, so that's awesome. So for 300 diamonds, I would say that's a pretty good deal right there. And moving on to the troops, I didn't really check the summoning stones this time. We're just going to kind of skip over those this time around. And so for legendaries, we have Celestasia, however you want to say the name of this troop here. That's a legendary. Bone Dragon's a legendary. And we have Queen Moonclaw, and we have Smashed Mouth. So when we're looking at legendaries here, as far as in my opinion, I think Bone Dragon and Smashed Mouth here are probably the two best legendaries. Moonclaw, I just don't like it, never used it. It creates 9 skulls boosted by green allies. 1-to-1 ratio there, allies and enemies. So you could create a lot of skulls with this if you have a full green team. But you can also create a lot of skulls with Bone Dragon. And I just like Bone Dragon better. Creates 9 skulls boosted by armor eliminated. Eliminates up to 25 armor on an enemy. And inflicts frozen when enemies deal skull damage to you. I just like Bone Dragon better. And then, of course, at the bottom here, we do have Smashed Mouth, which is a goblin troop. And, goblins always have that gain an extra turn when you cast it. So it does spell damage to an enemy, and then it knocks them to the back, and it drains 7 mana from all enemies below them. Bleed and silence the first enemy when you deal skull damage. 14 mana cost, pretty low. But yeah, it does some spell damage, and it drains 7 mana from all enemies, and it gains an extra turn. And it is actually, I don't see too many people use this troop, but it is actually a pretty good legendary. And the goblin extra turn thing is pretty awesome too. And the fact that it's draining 7 mana. And not a whole lot of troops actually are immune to mana drain. There's a few, but a lot of them are not. So you can control the battle pretty good with a troop like that. So I would say those are the two are the best. I'm not really gonna say which one's better than the other one. One focuses on skulls, one focuses on spells. So it kind of depends. But those are the two the best legendaries out of those 4 this week. Now for mythic troops, moving on here, we have Ketras the Bull, we have Obsidius, we have Umanoth, and Amarok. Now, I'm going to say Ketras the Bull is probably the best one out of these. Ketras the Bull is very, very powerful just as it is, but if you use support troops like Divinia or any of those kind of troops that will add life, armor, or attack to other troops, you can increase the damage of this troop by a lot. It is divine, and it is Tauros here, so we can actually get this thing to start with half mana if you have the Shaman class or if you use Divine Ishbala. It's a legendary divine troop. If you include that in the team, you can make this thing start with 50% of mana and get that quicker start to cast it. Now, it doesn't generate any mana for itself, and that's one drawback of Ketras the Bull. If it did that, it would just be just really crazy. But it is a little lower mana cost for a Mythic, 22, so that's good. But yeah, if you have a mana generator with it, something like Divinia, like I mentioned, because that will not only generate mana, but it will add life to all allies, and that's going to increase the damage of Ketras the Bull. So that's probably number 1. Number 2 is Obsidious. Now, I was going to say, it's hard to say. Obsidious is also very, very powerful. But I will say that as far as damage is concerned, I think Ketras the Bull is still better. And the fact that it scales pretty well, and you can increase its damage very, very easily with increasing its life and armor or attack. Obsidious, in order to increase its damage, you have to increase its magic. So as far as scalability and damage is concerned, Ketras the Bull wins out on that. So that's why I'm saying Ketras the Bull, in my opinion, is better than Obsidious. Now, Obsidious is still really great because it does do damage. It does destroy a 5x5 block of gems, which means it's generating mana for itself as well as other troops. It can start with 50% mana because it's considered an elemental, and it stuns all enemies on a 4 or 5 match. And stunning enemies is a very useful thing because now the stunning an enemy is basically making all their traits null as long as it's stunned. So right here, the traits on Obsidious is reduce damage from skulls by 50%. So let's say Obsidious gets stunned, then it would lose that ability as long as it's stunned, which means that skull damage could now do 100% damage to it while it's in that stunned phase. So stunning enemies is a very important thing. A very important tactic to use in the game, and that's one of the things that makes Obsidious really great, because on every 4 or 5 gem match, it will stun all enemies as long as you have this Earthquake trait unlocked. So that's the second most powerful mythic in the Soulforge this week. And then we have between Umanoth and Amarok. Now, Amarok is one of these troops that has a percentage chance to do something. It does do some regular spell damage, but it's not very high. And then there's a 2% chance to devour a troop boosted by red gems and burning enemies. And then if the enemy dies, it will create more red gems, which red gems is going to fill it up. So it does have a way to generate mana for itself, but it's only if that enemy dies. And the boost ratio is 4, so for every red gem on the board or a burning enemy, it will gain 4% to this 2%. So let's say there's 10 red gems on the board. It would be an extra 40% added to the 2. It would have a 42% of devouring that enemy. So a troop like this probably works best with like a Firestorm, because you're going to have more red gems on the board consistently, and it'll give it a higher percentage chance of devouring its enemy. Umanoth is a weird troop. It can be really dangerous in certain situations, but the best place for Umanoth here is at the top of your team, because it will place Hunter's Mark on the enemies when doing skull damage, and Hunter Mark troops take double skull damage. And so it's has a chance to create skulls and all that if the enemy dies. It does spell damage to an enemy boosted by all of their skills. Half of all of their skills, that number's added to its attack. Because the boost ratio, it's hidden by my face and the camera and everything, but the boost ratio is 2 to 1 boosted by all their skills. So that's half. So between Umanoth and Amarok, I don't know. It's a little bit iffy here. I mean, Umanoth is more predictable. Amarok's percentage chance is a little unpredictable, but whenever it does devour a troop, it gains a lot of stats, which makes it very tanky. Whereas Umanoth has no way to really gain much of anything there, and it only has a 20% chance to dodge skull damage, and you have to keep it at the top of your team to really take advantage of its abilities. So it's a weaker troop than Amarok. So I think I'm gonna say Ketras the Bull number 1, Obsidious is 2, Amarok is 3, and Umanoth is 4th. At least that's my opinion in my experience of using those troops. So that's how I think of those troops, and let's head over and check out our current event for this week. Oh, first of all, I almost forgot. Let's check out the weekly troop here. It's called Researcher. We can get it for 300 glory, and we also get 1 arcane blade trait stone. So if you have legendaries, mythics, or your hero classes, if they need this arcane blade trait stone, now is a good time to buy some. The Researcher has an ability called Hydraulic Fluid, and will give 26 armor to the first 2 allies. Then it will explode 2 gems plus 1 more for each ally and enemy mech. So, explodes 2 gems plus 1 more for each ally. Okay. So, it's going to explode 2 gems no matter what, and then 1 for each of your allies. So, if you have a full team, it'll explode 6 gems, and it explodes 1 less gem every time one of your allies dies. So, I mean, it's an okay troop. I probably won't use it, but, you know, it's alright. Now, let's go check out the event. It's called Failed Experiments, and we're going to go to the shop, and as always, here, we like to go and get ourselves the medal. I like to buy enough for the medal. You could just buy, like, the first 2 and get yourself a badge. But the badge isn't going to do as much, it doesn't have as much of a boost. Oh, here's Tesla. That's a legendary Mecha Troop I forgot about. I was thinking, oh wait, it's not a Mecha Troop, it's an Adana Troop. That's right. For some reason, I was thinking it was Mech, but it's a human troop. It's interesting that, you know, I feel like Tesla should, like, have some kind of, like, cyborg arm or something like that, and it should be a human mech. Because it's in the Adana Kingdom. You know? Like, I feel like that should be the case. So, for the metal boost, we get 160% spell damage for all troops in this event. So, let's look at our restrictions here, and let's... Oh, there's bomb bot rooms. That's interesting. Anyway, so our restrictions are to the kingdom Adana, and so that's we have to choose troops that belong only to this kingdom. So if you do have that weapon for the mech, we could use that. Here's Tina 9000. We have Karnax in here, and Tink Steam Whistles in here if you want an Electro Storm going. We have Tina 9000, which I'm not sure if it's considered spell damage, what it does do. I think it is. Deal 8 true scatter damage. We could use Tesla, and if we wanted to get really crazy with that, we could use the Shield of Urskaya and just really do some massive damage. But I got too many troops here. You could use Karnax as a way to mana generate, plus you got skulls with it. But we're not, we don't have any damage boost with skulls. So you could, if you have the drill shooter, if you have the mecha axe, you could use any of those different things. But I think I'm going to use the engineer's drill, because that is, it can explode or brown gems, and it grants a random status effect to all mech allies, and then it can summon a mech. So we have a mech there. The only thing that's not a mech is Tesla. See, that's what I'm saying. I really think Tesla should be a mech. It should just, you know, you got some mechanical arm, redesign on it, and call it a mech/human. And, yeah. Alright, so for class, we could use the mech class, which makes all mechs start with half mana. But we don't really need that, though, because if you buy through the shop, we already have Potions of Enchantment Explosion. And besides that, I'm trying to level up the Slayer class, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on here. But you can use any class you want for this event. Now for let's see. Let's go double green blue maybe. Double green blue negative brown. Well, we're exploding brown, so that's probably not good. We don't use yellow, so I could do double blue green here. The Trident banner. We could try that out. Try it out. Trident. Yeah, we're going to try out the Trident banner. Sorry, I just had to. And of course, all these battles early on are pretty easy no matter what team you really pick, because we have just the enemies have such low armor and life, and it's going to be super easy. Now, one of the things we could do is just put Tesla right up here to start with, because everything needs to die fast in order for us to get up there. So we're going to do that, and we're going to get it powered up before anything else, and one cast with it should kill everything. Beautiful. Beautiful. So we'll just keep doing that, and I mean, if we're doing that right now, we could change the banner to red blue. Sort of double blue red. Double blue red negative green. I don't like that. Alright, we'll just stick with what we got. Like negative. It's gonna give me a negative to a color I want to use, so no, well, I'm not gonna do that. And I do have clockwork down at the bottom because, for one very important reason, it gives armor to all allies, which is going to increase Tesla's ability. So that's why that's down there. That's why that's down there. So, hang on. We're going to do that. Yeah, as long as Tesla can get powered up really quick, it is going by pretty fast. But let's do this, and let's switch that. Let's put Tina down at the bottom, too. That way, the clockwork will get powered up even a little quicker, probably. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a pretty good team here. If you have the drill shooter, this thing here, the engineer's drill. Like I said, I do recommend getting that because not only does it give status effects to all mechs, but it'll summon a mech troop. So it could summon Tesla. It could summon Tina 9000. I mean, there's a lot of other mech troops that aren't really that good that it will summon also. But I'm just saying it has the potential to summon those really good troops. And let's just keep going. We're at a level 66, I think. Room here. So I'm trying to get it up closer to like level 100 here so we can really test out this. But it's going to be the same kind of thing, you know. I recommend Tesla for sure. And like I said, if you really wanted to boost it up, we could change the weapon to Urskaya. Because we have clockwork in there as a mana generator, so we don't necessarily need another mana generator. So here's what I could do. Okay, we could put this here, clockwork there, and we could just do a red blue for Tesla. There's no double blue red that doesn't negative one of the good things. Because if we go double red blue, it's negative to brown, and I want brown for clockwork. If we do this, then it's a green negative for Tina. But I might actually just do that. Compromise a little bit. We're going to change the weapon, though, to shield of... Oh, that's right. Our weapon is restricted, so we can't use shield of Urskaya. Scratch that. Scratch that idea. Let's just keep going with this right here. Huh. Huh. Alright. Yeah, scratch that. It was a good idea, but I forgot for whatever reason that Shield of Our Sky is not a mech weapon. So yeah, I mean, you can use Tina 9000, but Tesla is pretty much all you need. As you can see right now, it's been ripping through these enemies like... now that hurt it for sure. And we might have to do 2 casts because... No, it's still getting the 160% boost. But one of the nice things about this is that Tina 9000, when it casts, it's going to gain armor. And Tesla's boosted off of total armor. So Tina 9000 is going to boost it. Clockwork is going to boost it with the armor that it gives everything. So regardless of the weapon you use, I would say if you have Tesla and Clockwork, those should definitely go in your team. Tina 9000 is just there in case if you do have it, because once you get up into higher battles, it'll definitely help out. And the great thing about that is Tina 9000 and Tesla go very, very well together. Like, very well, because they're both doing true damage. Tina 9000 is adding armor to itself, which increases the damage that Tesla does. So, they're a very good combination. I'm just tearing through these guys. Yeah, it's been a one-hit kill, like, every single time, and I'm at a level 122 battle here. And I think one of the reasons what's going on here is that the armor is also increasing on the enemy as the battle difficulties increase. And so that also boosts Tesla's damage. So we may never need to use anything else except Tesla. Because the higher the rooms get, the more armor the enemies are going to have. And the more damage Tesla is going to have. So we might not need anything except Tesla in this event. And honestly, if one Tesla isn't good enough, honestly, you could put 2 Tesla in there if you have them. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I got multiples. So I could do 2 Teslas like this instead of a Tina 9000 if I wanted to. Yeah, it's... like, geez, you know, like, I don't need really anything. Let's go to this 82. Wait a minute, there was a 136. There we go. But yeah, I don't think you need anything else but Tesla. It's awesome. And one-hit kill again. So there you go, guys. That's the video for this week on the Soulforge and Gems of War and the event. Sorry it took me a couple days to get it out to you, but there it is. And I appreciate you guys for watching my videos, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.